we give it a couple more minutes, or shall I go right now?
Chinwe, it's very quiet. I can only just hear you.
Oh my.
Like almost barely. I can kind of hear your voice, but not really. But I don't know if anyone else can hear that. That might just be from my, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it's really far away.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Um, okay, I'm gonna just stop sharing for a bit, and I'm not quite sure what to do about that. Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Oana just said on the chat, are you connected to headphones?
Um,
As it happens to her. So maybe either put headphones in or take them out if you have them on.
Yeah, I can't hear either.
is that better? Sorry, I'm just testing.
That's louder.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Better. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. On that note, then I better start. I'll share my screen again. All right. Let's do this then. Welcome, everyone. You are so welcome to Health Mary's Women Unseen and Unheard webinar. I'll introduce myself. I am Dr. Chinwe Ude, founder and CEO of Health Mary UK. I'm a woman, a doctor who has well over 2.5 decades experience in clinical medicine, and I've held high-level leadership roles both within the public and private sectors. I'm a speaker and a passionate advocate for all things women's and children's health, and I'm a mom of 3 teenagers. In founding Health Mary, I realized with all of the experience I have that we ought to take an entirely different, unique perspective when it comes to women's health and wellness. And tonight, here at Health Mary, we invite all of you to consider this very unique perspective that we're taking in regards to women's health and in regards to your health. I want us to reflect on the fact that for millennia, women have looked after each other, mother to daughter, auntie to niece, sister to sister. We have passed down information, recipes, potions, gossip, um, solutions for generations. But that's one thing that is missing in today's world, where a lot of health issues when it comes to women are, in a way, siloed, and we are missing the connection between each other. I want us tonight to consider this ancestral model that has got us this far and consider the fact that it can indeed take us even further when it comes to solving our own health and wellness issues. And so Health Mary puts that into action in today's world because on our app, we have female-led experts who bring you experiential content and professional advice, which are relatable and tailored exactly to you. These are women who have walked in your shoes and who bring their expertise to you in exactly how you need it. In our webinars, we dedicate an hour every month or two to you so that we can all come together as a community, as a group, and learn from female experts who again will bring you all of their expertise and experience from their own personal experiences as well. These are women who have walked your shoes. And so this is a very unique approach that we take at Health Mary. In the last 6 months or so, we have produced these webinars. In June, the first one we had was in June, and that was titled Take Back Control. In that webinar,
What's that,
Julie Hammond,
Sabrina?
an expert.
What is that one?
Sorry, I'm just going to mute. Who is an expert fourth trimester GP. Claire Thomas talked to us about our nutrition. Julia Waters, who is a hypnotherapist, helped talk through gaining back control after we've had COVID. And of course, we had the fabulous Michelle Knight and Sam Sadiki, who are both wellness consultants. In September, the topic was when your child is different. And on there, Health Mary specialists also showed up to give us valuable information about how we look after our children and ourselves when they have special needs. And that day we had Dr. Susan Oza, specialist ADHD and autism pediatrician, Dr. Natalie Corley, a clinical psychologist, Sarah Morris, Zen play therapist, Lucy Ellis, includes us to charity head, and Wana Bora, our beauty guru and mom of two boys with additional needs. In December, we took the matter to our financial health. And there, Josie Turi from Mattioli Woods, who is a financial advisor, spoke to us on how to look after this crucial part of our healthcare, as well as, and alongside her, Katie Pawsey presented as well. So I think you get my drift here. At Health Mary, we are building a system where we can all come together and share all of our experiences and expertise in order to help each other to progress, both for our health and both for our health and well-being, as well as for our own economic situations. And so tonight, we thought we'd go all beauty, right? This is so exciting because tonight we have a skincare masterclass by the one and only Dr. Eve Skin, and I'm going to introduce her in a minute. But just to run through the agenda with you. So we're going to start with a knowledge poll, which should be fun. And then we'll let Dr. Eve Skin talk to us about anti-aging treatments and all the tricks and treatments out there. We'll take a 5 minutes break and come back for a quick 5-10 minute session with Jess Farrell, who is our Health Mary's PR and comms lead. Dr. Eve Skin will then take questions, and at the end of this webinar, she is actually going to give away a really, really fantastic prize. And so there's going to be a draw going on in the background, and at the end, someone is going to walk away with a fantastic prize. So let me tell you about Dr. Yvonne Abimbola, aka Dr. Eve Skin. Unless you're been living under a rock the last few years, everybody knows she's an absolute sensation. And we're so proud and lucky to have her on our Health Mary platform. Dr. Eve Skin studied medicine at St. George's University Hospital and became a GP a few years ago. But then she realized that skincare issues was a major problem in GP world, especially in primary care. And she went further to deepen her expertise and pursued a postgraduate diploma in clinical dermatology at Queen Mary's University of London, where she earned a distinction. Now, if you are a doctor, if there are any doctors in this room, you will know what that means. In medicine, when you get a distinction in medicine, yes, that is quite something. I'm lucky to have her as a friend, a colleague, and as an expert on our platform. And in her private practice and NHS role, she treats a variety of skin conditions. But what is really special about Yvonne is that she often comes from an entirely holistic point of view, always considering our cultural differences and committed to promoting a healthy outlook and self-image when she approaches her patients and clients. And so without further ado, May I please introduce Dr. Yvonne Abimbola?
Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope you can hear me and see me on your screens. Thank you so much for having me this evening. It's going to be a fun evening. I like interaction, so feel free to ask questions, get involved with the polls. Yeah, everything. My name is Dr. Yvonne Abimbola, also known as Dr. Eve. The clinic is called Dr. Eve Skin. So feel free to call me whatever you want. People do ask me what do I like to be called? Call me whatever you want. I'll answer. As long as you're respectful, I will respond in kind. I think we're gonna get on to the Mentimeter, is that right? And then we're gonna kick it off with some Q&A or some questions and see what is fact and what is fiction. So
Yes,
over
thank
to
you
you.
so much, Dr. Eve. So I've dropped a link in the chat. Hopefully you can all see it. So I'm just going to go into the website called Mentimeter. So we're going to have a few statements, and you have to pretty much put it on the chat, sorry, on the in the website, whether it's a fact or a myth. So let me just share my screen. Bear with me. Okay, can you all see?
Yep.
Okay, hopefully you've been able to click on the link, and I'm gonna start the presentation. So, okay, I'm just gonna start. So first statement, okay. Anti-aging starts in your 20s. Fact or myth?
So I think the answers
50
are coming in
seconds.
now. Okay.
Okay. Just give a couple more seconds. We only have 3 answers anymore. Okay, I will move on. Okay, next statement. Natural skincare is always safer than clinical skincare. Myth or fact? Okay, I'll move on now. Your scalp ages just like your face. Is that a fact or is that a myth? Next statement. Oily skin ages better than dry skin. Is that a fact or is that a myth? Great. Okay, next one. Your skin absorbs 100% of what you apply to it. Is that a fact or is that a myth? Great. Okay, next question. Expensive skincare products are always more effective. Fact or myth? Okay, usually. Brilliant. And the last question, you need eye cream if you are over 30. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
I like what?
Not necessarily, not sure. Yeah, really
It's
good.
funny, me and Pam were looking at St. Lucia stuff today as well.
Dear. Okay, so that's it. I'm just going to end the presentation. So we will be revealing their answers later on during Dr. Eve's Q&A session. So I'll just stop sharing my screen now and hand over to Dr. Eve.
Okay, so in true fashion, as a mum, my small one, who I tried to bribe earlier, has decided to come here. So if you hear a small person, just
Not here,
ignore.
but
She's coming back and forth, so hopefully she'll still settle. So that was a really good questionnaire. And I think it probably gave a lot of people things to think about. And really, the topic of today's conversation is about aging and anti-aging, and everybody wants to know how to stay young forever. And the truth is, can we stay young forever? No. It is a biological process which will occur to everyone. Essentially, you have to be born once and you should hopefully die once in the future, a very, very long time from now. However, there is a steady decline in the skin and in other parts of the body as we age. And obviously, our skin is the first thing that we present to everyone. So it tends to be the thing that people are more concerned about because they present that face, that body, your hands to people. So anti-aging is a really, really important point for people because they have concerns about what they look like and how they translate across the world. There are lots of things that can be done to delay aging, such as, sorry, no, thank you, such as using cream and moisturizers. Interestingly, one of the questions was talking about whether or not being oily is helpful. Sorry. One of the questions was about having oily skin and whether that is something that would promote, or if somebody who had oilier skin would likely age slower or faster. Actually, if you have oilier skin, you are more likely to age slower because oil lubricates the skin. Drier skin tends to see the effects. Oh my God, what is happening today? Dry skin sees the effects of aging much faster because of the lack of hydration. I'm so sorry.
Mommy, what's this meeting about? Mommy, what's this meeting about?
I have to say, Yvonne, that is cuteness overload right there. I love that.
It's not cute when you're trying to do something, unfortunately.
It's cute.
If you can see the
Sorry.
things that I can see, I'm trying not to. I don't know if you had children that were born during the pandemic, they actually always want to be on a screen. So trying to curtail that is very difficult. Going back to what we were talking about in terms of anti-aging, there are lots of strategies you can actually use to minimize aging, such as things like the retinoids, which is a very big topic that people are never really sure about. Lots of people have lots of fear around it, and I'll be really happy to answer any questions people have about that. But if we're talking about anti-aging, that is the number one ingredient that reverses the signs of aging. It doesn't stop aging, but it slows the process down because it turns over the skin quickly. It helps to produce new skin cells and also gives you that tightened youthful glow that you wanted when you were younger. So these are things that we talk about, as someone has mentioned. Yes, cell renewal, because of that new turnover of skin, you get to see that tighter, younger skin rather than the loose sagginess of skin that we're used to. So I don't know if anyone has any questions that they would like to throw out at the moment. What percentage of retinol is effective? Okay, well, it's interesting because retinol and retinoids are not the same thing. Retinols are part of the family of vitamin A treatments, also known as retinoids. Retinol is on the weaker end of the spectrum, and tretinoin is at the top end of the spectrum. And when we talk about using anti-aging treatments like retinoids, you can start with over-the-counter remedies such as retinol. And retinol can actually be quite strong and also irritating. So you have to be mindful of that. So people use things like Olay over the counter and will report burns just as much as they might report the same with prescription strength retinoids. But retinaldehydes tend to go deeper, and the step to the active ingredient is shorter compared with retinol, which needs multiple steps to get to the active ingredient of tretinoin, which we see. So in sensitive skin, plant-based retinol, fabulous. So actually, when patients want to start a retinol and they're a bit scared, or they're pregnant and they don't have any, they're obviously not able to use a retinol, using something like bakuchiol is very, very effective to being able to give you the effects of a retinoid, but not the side effects and also not the concerns regarding teratogenicity. And that's always something that I'd recommend. Things like azelaic acid, although we're talking about their use in other conditions like rosacea and in acne, can also be very beneficial in helping improve the appearance of the skin. Often the signs of aging that we see in the skin are things like pigmentation, and pigmentation leads to basically looking slightly older, more worn, and things like that. So using ingredients that help to promote the pigmentation or address pigmentation like azelaic acid can be really beneficial. There is an ingredient that I haven't mentioned that's probably one of the most important things that I talk about all the time is sunscreen as an anti-aging remedy. Sunscreen as an anti-aging remedy is the most effective way to delay the signs of aging, especially if you are someone of a lighter skin type. The effects of aging are noted much earlier than in darker skin types, and that's usually due to the effect of photoaging on the skin. So when I say photoaging, I mean sun aging the skin. I'm not sure if many people have seen, there's a particular famous photo, two photos I always reference, a gentleman who was a truck driver and would drive trucks for a living, clearly, and one half of his face aged considerably more than the other side of his face because it was consistently exposed to the sun, and he didn't wear sunscreen. And there's a famous lady who applied sunscreen to her face but did not apply it to her neck, and you can see the impact of photoaging on her neck and not her face. So again, if we're talking about anti-aging, prevention is one of the biggest steps, and that means wearing sunscreen. And that also means wearing sunscreen if you're someone of darker skin type. And often that seems to be like counterproductive. Why would I wear dark sunscreen if I have dark skin? I naturally have photo protection. What do you mean? There is photo protection, but that's an SPF about 13. That is not sufficient to be able to delay the signs of aging or address some of the things that happen when the sun, impacts our skin, like hyperpigmentation, making melasma worse and things like that. So it's very, very important that sunscreen forms part of your management in terms of prevention as well. I see some questions.
Yvonne, let me help you with that because they've literally flooded in as you were talking.
Yeah.
So, I'll ask you. I'll read them out to you. So someone says, Cece says, I want to start using sun protection daily. What do you think is a good recommendation with SPF, etc.? Face only or full body? Apply once or all day?
Okay, so why applying moisturizer only once a day or multiple times a
SPF.
day?
I think
No,
SPF. She means.
yeah, so SPF needs to be applied multiple times a day. It cannot work all day. Sorry, my camera went off. Sunscreen can last about 2 or 3 hours and then it degrades. Even when you wear some of the best sunscreen, mineral sunscreen being the best form of photo protection, after 2 or 3 hours, that sunscreen no longer has the same effectiveness. So wearing sunscreen throughout the day is really, really important. Now, coming back to, I think, a year or 2 years ago, some studies were done about the spray-on sunscreens, which is something I tend to recommend people do to refresh their sunscreen during the day. And truthfully, results showed that a lot of it is lost into the environment. However, there's still some protection. And when you're putting on your base sunscreen in the morning, reapplying with a spray-on sunscreen, or even in our, women, we have access to makeup. There are makeup foundations, makeup, and a foundation is not a replacement for a sunscreen. But reapplying things like powders with SPF, spray-on, roll-on sunscreens, All of these are easy ways to apply sunscreen during the day, but it must be done repeatedly. And it's extremely important if you have other conditions like rosacea, like melasma. If you have those two conditions specifically or suffer seriously with hyperpigmentation, not wearing sunscreen is basically shooting yourself in the foot. So it's really, really an important part of managing your skin.
Someone says, also in regards with the skin sensitivity using retinol, you could buffer or mix retinol with light cream. Is that right?
Yes, so you can do things like sandwich techniques. So I've actually made videos on this in the past. One of the most important steps, whether using a retinol or a prescription strength retinoid, is actually slowly titrating the retinoid in. So I always recommend that if you're starting a new product like a retinoid and you've not had it before, especially if you're naive, is what we would call it, using it 2 or 3 times a week to start with, allowing your skin to get used to it is really, really important. Another way to buffer it if you have sensitive skin is using a moisturizer, which is bland. It doesn't need to be light, it just needs to be bland. So something bland like CeraVe, which won't irritate your skin. You don't want a moisturizer with any actives. Doesn't matter how bad your acne is. If you add too many actives at the same time as starting a retinoid, you are guaranteed to irritate your skin. So you could put this is all to be applied at nighttime if you're using a retinoid. You can use a moisturizer. You then apply your prescription or your retinol or your retinoid, and then you put a moisturizer after. That's a lovely sandwich. If you think you don't need the first moisturizer, you can just use the retinoid and then use the moisturizer after. Over time, your skin will get used to it and you can take that last step away. But it's a way to gently get your skin used to it.
The other question is, can tretinoin make you darker?
No, no, not at all. It quite literally
That
can.
is going to cause some.
I can't say it's doing the opposite because it's not actually intended to make you lighter. However, the only time I see patients get darker on a retinol is when they're not wearing sunscreen, because then they're much more sensitive to sun, and then they get this hyperpigmentation. So in lighter skin types, when patients are using retinoid, they look red because they've not been wearing sunscreen. And in darker skin types, they might look more gray because they've not been wearing sunscreen. It's just the impact of not protecting the skin properly. However, no, the skin actually gets turned over in the initial stages when you might see that flaking. Yes, it may look like it's slightly darker, but what comes after is this fresh, bright new skin. And actually, no, you will find if you use them, patients will say, or people will tell you, oh, your skin looks so much brighter. Oh, wow, what are you using? That's because that's the action of cellular turnover that's happening with retinoids.
The other question here is, do you need to apply SPF if you are not leaving the house? And I guess this also, the next question probably ties in, is blue light a thing? I presume this is
Yes,
blue light from screens. Is that right?
yes,
Yeah, so,
yes.
and can we use SPF as blue light protection?
Yes, you can. And I rarely see anyone who actually never leaves the house. It's so funny. People come to me in dermatology and say, oh, I never go out the house. And I'm like, oh, how did you get here? How did you leave? How did you get here? Because if you look outside, you went outside to get to this building. Now, I'm being a bit pedantic, but the point is you're getting UV light exposure from your phone, from your screens. And actually, yes, unfortunately, that can contribute. And again, coming back to issues like things like rosacea, it can be triggered by that blue light. So unfortunately, yes. Um, if you're quite literally, maybe you are, as a doctor, you are someone who's a radiologist who sits in a dark room all day, then yes, you're probably getting less light than others, but you're also getting it from the screen. So really, it should be something that everyone should be using, no matter you, especially if you are sitting around screens or constantly exposed to UV light. Consider the fact that we use UVB or UV light therapy to treat psoriasis, and that's not direct sunlight, but we still know that that impacts the skin in a similar way and can increase your risk of skin cancers, but we're using it in a therapeutic manner. So there really is no one that's excluded.
How effective are niacinamides for melasma and pigmentation?
It's not by itself, it's not effective. And that's just the short. I am a bit blunt when I talk about some things, but by itself, niacinamide will not shift your melasma. Doesn't matter how much you apply on, it can be part of the management. And it usually forms part of something we might put together for you. I wouldn't say it's one of the first ingredients I would think of, but it would not be good enough to fix melasma. You need actives, you need proper tyrosinase inhibitors to address that.
Next one is, what SPF level? I presume, how much SPF do you need in a bottle?
Okay, I think they mean what level of SPF would you need to get? I say SPF 30 and above. Anything 30 and above, you should be applying. And that's for everyone, black, white, green, whatever color you feel you are. SPF 30 and above. If your sunscreen, if your makeup or your moisturizer says, oh, it's SPF 15, this is the commonest thing that I get in clinic. Oh, yeah, I wear SPF. My moisturizer has SPF 15 in it. My question is, do you put your moisturizer on like you would put sunscreen? Or do you put your makeup on like you would put sunscreen? Most people, if you're putting sunscreen on properly, you should lather it on your skin. Wait until it's absorbed. I doubt you would put makeup on in the same quantity. So therefore, you need a dedicated sunscreen, that being the last part of your skincare routine. And then you can follow up with your makeup. And if your makeup has additional SPF, fabulous, but that's not your primary SPF.
Please, can you recommend a gentle cream cleanser?
Yeah, it's quite a few actually. The Ordinary has a squalene cleanser, which is cream based, and you can rub it in. It's fabulous for taking off makeup. CeraVe also has one, which can be an oil to cream cleanser. Um, there's quite a few brands. Those two are really good and they're well priced, so I'd recommend that. Simple also has one, and they won't irritate. They're all gentle. And Cetraben is also a very good gentle cream cleanser.
Oh. Um, can you recommend an SPF that doesn't give you an ashy look?
I've
Look.
got like 15. Uh, SPF is like literally the thing I talk about all day. There is a brand called Unseen Sunscreen. There are lots of them on the market. I am a humongous fan of La Roche-Posay's sunscreens. There's a few different types of sunscreens. Anthelios is the range that everyone knows about. You need to choose with the sunscreen based on your skin type. There are different sunscreens, one made for dry skin, one made for oily skin. Oily skin people will not want the dry one. You will look really oily, and vice versa. There's also one which is within the La Roche-Posay range, but it's called Air. It's extremely light, and I believe it's a mixture of a chemical and a mineral sunscreen. So it goes on really nicely. It feels fabulous. Um, there's also a German one, which for some reason I think it's called Invisible Labs or something like that, which feels like a primer. It's very much like the unseen sunscreen. So when you put it on, it's invisible. You cannot see it. I think it's called Transparent Lab. And if it's basically amazing as a base, as a primer. So you can put that on as a sunscreen. I recently did a podcast and it was the end of the day and I was looking really shiny. And I put my sunscreen on, it mattified me and nobody knew, which is fabulous. So I can give you this and this and this. I think I need to update a video on that. So
Someone says you look great. Just,
thank you. Even though I look stressed.
just even though she's got like two kids pulling her arms and legs over there. But yes, absolutely fabulous. I would agree. I would agree, definitely.
Thank you.
The other question here is, are 8 Hour Kids sunscreens effective?
Yeah, it's actually quite a bad thing. It's a bit of a gimmick that lots of brands do. I think what happened is they tested it and they could see some effectiveness of the sunscreen at 8 hours. But in terms of safety, no. If you put your child out in the sun with an 8 hour sunscreen and did not reapply, they will burn. So you do need to reapply sunscreen. Obviously, when it comes to children, they should not be getting direct sunscreen exposure. Um, Again, a tip or not a tip, a fact is if a child gets a severe sunburn as a child, their risk of melanoma, especially talking about lighter skin types, is very high. It's increased due to that exposure when they were children. So it's one of the questions we ask when we are screening for melanoma risks. So ideally, just reapply the sunscreen. Wear photoprotective clothes. That means wearing long sleeves, wearing sun hats, wearing a rash. I think it's what it's called, a hat with a neck guard because they tend to burn on the back of their neck, and just reapply the sunscreen. In fact, one of the things I do, I like to make it again. There's quite a few sunscreens that come out green or blue, and then when you rub them in, they go clear. So they come in spray bottles. I didn't mention Altruist as a sunscreen. That's quite good. Really good family size. So is I want to say Ultra Play. I forgot what the name of the brand is. But Bondi Sands also, even though they had that controversy, in terms of size for families, for kids, you can get through lots of sunscreen through the summer and through the year. Obviously, I promote through the year for a good price, and actually you can reapply and you can make it fun. They have spray bottles, and the kids love it. So yeah, no 8 hour sunscreens, at least not for 8 hours.
Another question here is, how beneficial are omegas? Omegas face oil?
I think you mean fish oil. Um, If you mean omega fish oil for anti-aging, not much. I mean, it goes back to the thing with collagen. Collagen has some benefit. We can't say it doesn't have any. It does have some benefit. Likewise, omega fish oils have some benefit. But in order to like reverse skin aging, no, it's not going to do enough. If you want to take it as part of a supplement, you can do, but I would definitely not hang your hat on it.
Even if you are indoors, do you still need to reapply sunscreen? I
Yes.
just apply it once a day.
If you're sitting near windows, then the sun is coming through the windows. So yes, I mean, you can test that yourself. Look on a sunny day, you can see the light coming through the window and hitting other areas. It's still coming through to your face. So yes.
How much does shampoo affect our skin? So I
Not
guess
sure if I understand the question.
I'm guessing, so when you're washing your hair, you might have products kind of coming down your face and all of that, which might be irritating to your skin, is what I'm guessing this
Yeah,
question.
I mean, there's such a thing as contact dermatitis. Going back to one of the questions in the Mentimeter, often there's a belief that natural products are better than, man-made products. And actually, any product can give you an irritation. Any product, whether it be natural or not natural, can give you irritation. And sometimes we use products for the side effects of them. In terms of shampoo, it can definitely affect the skin, but it can also be beneficial. One of the off-license things that we tend to do quite a lot in dermatology is use medicated shampoos on the body. It's always very strange when you tell a patient, take that shampoo and put it on your body. They think you are absolutely crazy, but we know why we're saying it because it really benefits that condition, whether it be seborrheic dermatitis or whatever the case might be. It can have a role. The skin on your scalp is still skin, and the skin on your body is still skin. Sometimes the skin on our faces respond differently to the skin on our body, but it's still skin, and therefore it can react for sure.
A question here about hormones. So do hormones affect skin more in 40-year-olds than in 20-year-olds? Like, is there an age?
I wouldn't say more, but I would say that in a menopausal, so 40, I wouldn't even say necessarily is always menopausal. Some people do go into menopause around 40. Lots of people go into menopause later in life, but it all depends on what the circumstances is around that person. In menopausal women, lots of changes are happening at the same time, and there's been that steady decline in terms of the aging process, which kind of, especially collagen wise, drops off from 30 and just kind of falls off a cliff once they get into menopause. Therefore, that's like a new phase of life. And I always explain to people, it's like the next phase. You become a teenager, you start to go through your hormones, your pre-teens and all of that. Now you enter a new phase, and actually your body almost resets and does what it likes. So it's not that there's more changes as someone in the later years of 40, but it just tends to be different changes. A patient at 20 can have a flare up of rosacea, and somebody in 40 can have the first flare up of rosacea. Everybody really is different, but we tend to see peaks. So there are peaks around the times of, your early teens, and then obviously in that menopausal range of different types of hormonal problems. But again, when it comes to dermatology, there's lots of different types of hormonal problems you might be experiencing. That could be things like polycystic ovaries, and that tends to be more of an issue when you're younger than when you're older and the hormones are kind of slowing down. It's very, very different depending on the condition we're talking about.
I'm going to read out a couple of questions and messages we've got offline.
Okay.
So one of it is about hair. So silk pillows, can they reduce hair breakage?
Yes, absolutely. Silk, if you got the money for it, absolutely. It does decrease breakage, it increases the slippage of your hair, and it's also good for the skin, but you must wash it very regularly, or you're just introducing that dirt and bacteria. If you want to take a tip from, I want to call it from the black girls, but I'll just tell it. Wearing a silk bonnet is the same thing. So you don't necessarily have to go and get a silk pillow. That's very good for the skin and the hair, but a silk bonnet will keep your hair contained, and then it won't be contaminating the pillow should you rub your hair all over it. But absolutely a good investment to buy. And they look nice too.
Another question here, skin routine for combination skin. What products would you recommend and when to use them?
You need a skin consultation.
I was just gonna say.
If I give it a combination skin means many things, but really combination skin means that maybe some parts of your skin are oily, some parts of your skin are dry. Really, you can look in certain ranges like CeraVe, and you can choose products made for combination skin. And likewise, Effaclar range is very good for oily, acneic skin. That tends to be very common combination skin. I would focus on making sure that you're washing it regularly, applying a moisturizer, whether your skin is oily or not. I know that seems like, why would I put more stuff on my face when it's oily? But what happens is, if you don't put moisturizer on your face, your skin thinks, I'm dry, I'm going to make more sebum. Then you look like a shiny mess. So trying to keep it steady, trying to keep that homeostasis, that balance on your skin, means using something lighter, or a gel-based moisturizer made for someone who has much more oily skin. And then using a sunscreen that also suits the skin type that you have. But yeah, sounds like you need a consultation.
Right, so I think we have blown through our break. The time's literally flown by. Oh my God, I thought this might happen, but yeah. So I will actually ask everyone to please continue putting the questions in. We will go for that 5 minutes break, and just grab a cup of coffee, tea, glass of wine, whatever you want, and let's reconvene in about 5 minutes, and then Dr. Eve can continue answering your questions. That means we will be back at 20:15 or so, quarter past 8. Okay, we are back. But first, let's hear it from Jess. Jess is our absolutely fabulous Health Mary PR and comms lead. She's going to give us 5 minutes sort of breakdown of what Health Mary is about, and then we can get right back to Dr. Eve. Go, take it away, Jess.
Hiya, so can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
So, what is Health Mary App and who am I? So, I'm Jess. I'm the social media manager and content creator. And like Chinmay said, I deal with the PR and comms for Health Mary. I have the privilege to work for a business that promotes values I'm passionate for, all about female empowerment, fixing the problems we face in women's healthcare, and just general female wellness as a whole. Um, so the Health Mary app is a health and wellness platform which connects female practitioners to you, creating safe and empowering place for you to not only seek advice with no judgment, but also to create a community of strong ladies in the health and wellness industry. From menopause experts to mental health specialists, we have a vast range of incredible practitioners working with us. So, Health Mary as a user, what does that look like? So, if you sign up to our app, you can connect directly with incredible health and wellness experts. You'll get access to easy appointments with no long wait times, and you can learn this in a safe space for women about all kinds of feminine issues we may face in today's world. And we've got a Reels page where you can stay informed with all kinds of practitioners and stay informed with health hacks as you go. We're also launching soon Health Mary 2.0, which is going to include so many more things. So keep along with us for the journey because there's so many things that are going to be changing and added to the app. Health Mary as a practitioner, we've got practitioners and we also have Health Mary mavens, which are more like influencers, you could say. So just people that are passionate talking about topics to do with health and wellness. So, as a practitioner, you can showcase your professional profile. You can start building trust with the users and being part of that community of Health Mary ladies. You can easily set up your availability and receive client booking requests. You can post health tips and video content to engage users and demonstrate your expertise and network and collaborate with like-minded female professionals. And it's just a great way to meet people. We're holding events all the time. We're always doing bits like that. So yes. The next slide. So this is what our app looks like at the moment. Obviously, this is going to change with Health Mary 2.0. But at the moment, on the left here, you can discover practitioners. So you can already see some of the range we have from beauty, doctors and GPs, maternity and infant care, sleep, blood tests, menopause. There's absolutely everything for all ages. In the middle, this is just an example of one of our practitioners, Francois. She's a pelvic and core specialist, and this just shows what it would look like going onto one of their profiles. So you can find out about them and book. You can see their qualifications, the rates, whereabouts they're located. Some offer online, some offer in person. And then on the right here, you can watch their expert advice. So this is what the Reels page looks like. So you can scroll down, you can interact with different practitioners and save their videos as well. And they're just like tips and tricks that practitioners have put out that you can go back to. So yeah, that's that. I'll leave this QR code up for a second just so you can scan if you're going to download the app. But we will include links and we'll send it out to everyone afterwards. So no worries if you don't get it now. But by downloading the Health Mary app, you're not only becoming a part of a community of empowered women, but we're always learning and teaching each other different things through love and support. And it's an important place for women to truly be themselves and find a safe place for anything you may be dealing with. So I'll just go on to our last slide here. And very exciting, we have Health Mary on Air. So it's a radio show presented by myself, Dr. Chinmay, and Owana Bora. And we also have another host, Caitlin Davis, who's not in this picture. I need to update that picture. But you can join us as we empower on your wellness, one story at a time. We're always talking about different things, from Gen Z things to Dr. Chinmay and Owana talking about children with special needs or their GP. No topic is off limits, and we'll talk about all things that we discuss in our webinar as well. So you can listen on the Syncport's DAB radio, or you can follow us on Health Mary app, where we live stream every Monday, 10 to 11. And if you missed that, we've got Spotify, Health Mary on Air, which you can just search up and you can listen to all past episodes. So yeah, thank you from me. And I will share all the links so you can find everything at the end of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jess. I love that last slide. There is no getting rid of us, isn't it? If you miss us here, you'll find us there. If you miss
Very
us there,
true.
you'll find us here. But that's the way it is, and I'm so proud of our team. That was beautifully presented. Thanks very much, Jess. Right, Yvonne, you still right? Can we have you back? So
I'm still here
right,
with another
so
person, small person here. Sorry.
yeah. So, Naomi, did you want to start with did you want to go through the Menti meter poll
Yes, I
question
do.
thing? So, because I think that'll be a good way to ease back into this second segment. Let's look at what people thought were fact or fiction. I'm slightly worried I totally failed all of these questions. But let's see what you think, Yvonne.
Okay, so let's revisit this fact or myth statements, and obviously we have Dr. Eve to provide the correct answers to them. So I'm going to read out each statement. So anti-aging starts in your 20s. 4 people said fact, 2 said false, 2 said myth. Dr. Eve.
So it is a very interesting question. Anti-aging treatment does not need to start in your 20s. So I'd say that's false, but the aging process does start in the late 20s. So I'd say false overall.
Okay, thank you. Next one. Natural skincare is always safer than clinical skincare. Several people think it's a myth. 3 things are fact and 1 true. I guess fact and true are the same thing, you know.
The overall majority is correct. It is a myth. Natural skincare can be just as harmful as clinical skincare. I've seen many a patient with contact dermatitis from fragrance, which is naturally occurring, from products like coconut oil, which seems to be like the most amazing thing, but it can cause just as much irritation. So please, that's definitely a myth.
Brilliant. Your scalp age is just like your face. 8 people says it's a fact. 3 people says it's a myth.
They are correct. It does age just like your face. And actually, hair follicles age. We call that miniaturization. They get smaller and smaller. They produce thin hairs. And also, yeah, the scalp ages. It's their skin there. So absolutely fact.
Oily skin ages better than dry skin. 6 people think it's a fact. 2 think it's myth. And obviously 2 think it's true.
It's true. It ages better. I mean, really, it's subjective, really, but I would say yes, it's true. And it's good because for the oily girls out here, we that's something you can be proud of. But you can still minimize the oil whilst aging well.
Your skin absorbs 100% of what you apply to it. 6 think it's a myth. 3 think it's fact. 2 false.
It is myth. It is false. It isn't something that actually happens. It does absorb most of what you apply on it, so that's still important what we're applying on the skin. About 70%, 75% of what you place on the skin is absorbed, but that's enough to make it lethal, but that's also enough to give you the benefit that you're looking for.
Okay, thank you. Expensive skincare products are always more effective. Majority think that's a myth.
I think the majority are absolutely correct. Very simple skincare, some skincare products. Vaseline is much better than, I've forgotten the name of, La Mer. That is like one of the most expensive products ever, and it's basically the same product. So save your money, just go and get some Vaseline from Superdrug.
Okay. All right. Final one. You need eye cream if you are over 30. 4 think it's a myth. 2 fact.
The majority is correct. You absolutely do not need eye cream if you're over 30. You can use your moisturizer as your eye cream. Eye cream is moisturizer. And in fact, if you put heavy creams under your eyes, you're more likely to get milia under the eyes. So most of it is a little bit of a scam. If you wanted to use an eye cream, I would ask what the question or the concern you had is, and then use an active that would help there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eve. That's really helpful. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Well, that's amazing. Somebody asked here, will this be recorded? Yes, it's being recorded, and the link will be placed on our website, so healthberry.co.uk. If you go to the inform inform section, you will find the links to the other webinars we've had before, so you can listen to them again. They are also on our YouTube channel, so please go back and have a listen again, because yeah, it's really, really interesting. I had to edit some of the recording the other day, and I just found myself completely enthralled by the two previous webinars we had. So yes, you can definitely listen again. So Yvonne, what do you want? Shall we continue with some of the questions for another 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the next bit here is what's better for growing edges between PRP and exosomes? I don't even know what PRP is. Can you expand what that abbreviation is?
So PRP is platelet-rich plasma, and exosomes are little chemical messengers which we are external to you. So PRP comes from the person. We take your blood, spin it in a machine called a centrifuge, and then we get these growth factors, which is in this gold liquid we call liquid gold, and we inject it back into you. We use it because it has lots and lots of growth factors, and it's really helpful to stimulate hair to grow or to heal areas of skin. It can be used in many, many sites, not just in the skin, not just in the hair. It can be used on the body in various areas. Exosomes are specifically targeted to an area, little messengers that go and say, right, grow some more hair in that area. What is better is dependent on the person. PRP works, and the good thing about it is that there's no chance of rejection. It's your own blood, it's your own clinical material, and essentially it will work, but it takes time. Exosomes also take time, but there is that potential that you might react to it, you might not get on with it for whatever reason. If you have any allergies, you may not be suitable for it. Oh goodness, I bumped head. But PRP is suitable for you always because it's yours and only your material. So really, in terms of what's growing, what's better, you need to have a consultation about how much you're willing to take. In the UK, we can only apply exosomes with microneedling. We do not inject them. With PRP, they're injected and they can be microneedled in. Sometimes, depending on the patient and the consultation, we might combine PRP and exosomes in one session. So we're going to inject and then we microneedle and apply some PRP and exosomes and they'll be absorbed in. But yeah, it's all individual.
Right, next question is, does it make a difference if we apply hyaluronic acid on wet face?
Absolutely. Hyaluronic acid grabs water. So leaving the skin slightly damp is very, very important to being able to pour extra water in. So ideally, you would apply hyaluronic acid after you've washed your face and then dab it and then leave a little bit of water left behind. However, if you haven't done that, you can spritz it with some water. Obviously, hopefully some water that's not going to irritate your skin. And I say that, it sounds really weird, but a lot of us have hard water and that irritates our skin, especially if you have eczema. So using a little bit of water, might be purified, spray that on with a mister and then apply hyaluronic acid. It will grab that extra water and that will give you that plumpness that you like. But please note that hyaluronic acid can be irritating for some people. So it's not for everyone. You do need to try things before you buy them.
Bachycolic, oh, and
Bakuchiol.
what? Bachycolic,
Bakuchiol. Is that yeah, Bakuchiol.
bakuchiol retinol. Never heard of that.
So
Bakuchiol retinol recommendation. What is that?
So Bakuchiol is the alternative to a retinoid or retinols or retinoids. And you can use it safely if you're pregnant or if you can't tolerate retinoids. Recommendations for Bakuchiol. I believe Paula's Choice does one. I might be making that up. Retinoids. There's so many. Do you know what? There's a really good one by CeraVe. There's a really good one by CeraVe if you're new in the game for retinoids. Olay does one. There's so many different types. If you're really, really scared, but you'd also like to have something that's slightly more effective, the Medicate range, you can start at one and then go up slowly. It is a bit more pricier than some of the others, but it's very effective. And when you get to the stage that works for you, you don't have to keep going up. That's the thing that I think people miss. Often, even with prescription retinoids, if I prescribe you an adapalene, which is a weaker form of a retinoid, but effective nonetheless, if it works for you, you don't have to go on to tretinoin 0.1%. Why are you doing that? Is it to brag? No, you don't need to irritate your skin just to show that you can tolerate a retinoid. Whatever works for you is all that you need to do.
Is it vitamin C that you should avoid using when using tretinoin?
Yes, you should avoid it. I always say, as I said, with tretinoin, I would I would recommend that you go slow and don't bring in any other actives until your skin is used to it. After a while, you can do that. You can bring in a vitamin C, and once your skin is trained, you can tolerate that. But you do have to be very careful introducing any ingredient when you're using a retinoid, just because vitamin C itself can be irritating. And also, not all vitamin Cs are the same. Some of the most effective vitamin Cs, this is probably one of the few areas when maybe a more expensive product works better than the over-the-counter ones that are cheaper. Not all of them, but this is one of the few situations where a good vitamin C is worth its weight in gold.
There are so many hair growth oils and serums on the market for hair loss. Example from the Ordinary and Cricket or Cricket.
Sacred,
Um,
sacred.
do they actually work, or should we be using something more clinical like minoxidil?
You can use both. You can actually use both. So, in truth, this is one of the few times that Beyonce earned her coins. Like Sacred, and The Ordinary are basically the same product. And this is what I say. Again, I'm terrible at making videos, but I tell patients this all the time. You can use The Ordinary um, uh, multi-peptide serum for hair density, or you can use Sacred edge drops. They're quite literally the same product. One is far more expensive than the other, and you don't have to do an import to get it. Um, Alongside this, if you wanted to use minoxidil, you can. I tend to like the serums because they're water-based. They do not irritate for the most part. Most people are fine with it. However, minoxidil can be quite irritating. And the ones you can get over the counter, either a foam or a solution, they tend to be irritating. They also tend to leave a cast behind, so like a residue. So if you have dark hair and you have this residue on your scalp, you're not going to like it. If it's compounded, if you see a private doctor and we compound it into a solution for you, we can do things to make it less irritating. However, I do actually like the edge drops. If you have a bit of traction, if you're sorry, if you have a bit of traction that is still reversible, then using an edge drop like the one from The Ordinary or Sacred will work for you. But that isn't going to work alone. You still need to do the things that will allow you to get the benefit, like reducing the tension, making sure that you're changing your styling of your hair, and leaving your edges alone. That alone will do the work.
Does removing facial moles leave scars, and how long will it take for it to come back again? Can it be prevented?
So DPNs are my friends. I love them. I love them, but I remove so many of them because I understand that they take over people's faces. They don't have to leave scars. A good clinician that knows how to take DPNs off will just get the surface of them and then they will fall off on their own. Um, I've had great results with it, but I know some patients have been left with scars when it's been done too aggressively. In terms of how long it will take to go back again, really is that's as long as it will take. In some people, it's years. In some people it's months. If you're going to have a baby in the next 1 year, just don't bother yourself. If you know that you are prone to developing DPNs, and when we say DPN, it's called dermatosis papulosa nigra. What that means is basically the little Morgan Freemans that you might have seen on Morgan Freeman. You develop them. They're very genetic, very responsive to sun exposure, and very responsive to hormones. So you do get them as you get a bit older. And this is usually seen on darker skin types, so Asian and Black patients. However, it's actually the same condition as seborrheic keratosis or age spots that you see on lighter skin types. The only difference is that they're much smaller and then they tend to cover and make people look like, they have a whole different face. You can treat them and then I just warn people that possibly they will turn, but we tend to get quite a good amount of time out of it. But if you're someone that's going to go back into the sun, you're heavily exposed to the sun and you're not wearing sunscreen, or you're exposed to hormones, or you're going through menopause, it will flare again. So you just have to prepare yourself for another treatment in future, but it can definitely be effective. It cannot be prevented though. Prevention, I'd say maybe wearing sunscreen is probably the only form of prevention, but genetically, if it runs in your family and you get lots of them, you're going to get it. If it's like me, I got one with each pregnancy and that's it. And I actually really like them, but I didn't get any. So
Right, Yvonne. This is just absolutely fantastic. I suspect that if we carried on, we will carry on all night long. But you have something very special for someone, a very, very special prize and giveaway
I
tonight
do.
for one lucky attendee today. What is it?
Okay, so I have two clinics. The first clinic is a medical clinic, mostly called Dr. Eve Skin, and I have a second clinic, which is a beauty and hair space where we offer hair and scalp treatments. If you think head spa, but also with a scalp assessment from a medical aspect. So you're not just going to get someone that looking at your scalp saying, "Ooh, ooh, ah." We actually know what we're doing. And so we're going to be offering that service to one of you in this live. You'll have a free consultation, free scalp assessment, and a free treatment. And that will be at our clinic, Skin Ethica by Dr. Eve. So I'm not sure how we're going to run the
Yes,
poll.
so we have done the draw in the background as you were speaking. And let me share my screen so that we can do the review. Earlier at the start of the presentation, you asked me whether we had a sound, background sound.
Yeah,
This would have been a good time to have one. Um,
my daughter would just sing for you. So
okay, so yes, I will. Oh my goodness, where's my? Bear with me. Bear with me. I can't find my buttons. There it is. Okay, cool. Okay, so now, guys, this treatment is worth nearly £250. So this is incredibly generous of Dr. Eves. Thank you so much, Yvonne. This is amazing. And so the lucky winner is. Sorry, I'm giving my own tune there. Samara.
Samara
Samara,
Zendera,
can you give us a
congratulations.
thumbs up or a heart if you're still there? Wow.
No way. Thank you.
There you
Wonderful.
go.
Amazing.
We're looking
I
forward
never
to
win
seeing
anything.
you.
So, Samara,
Thank you so much.
we'll reach out to you in the next couple of days to obviously take things further.
Oh,
Thank you so much for attending the webinar, by the way. And yes, you are so lucky.
I am very lucky. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Yvonne. That is absolutely brilliant. And everyone is going to get an email later on with your contact details and links to your website and everything they need to know because, man, need I say anything? I mean, you come highly recommended from me. I've had, an amazing experience. You looking after me too. So yeah, this is just amazing, and I feel so lucky to have you. And so, guys, I am going to say thank you now because we have come to the end of the webinar. But first, I would like to give a shout out to the women of Health Mary who are in the audience today. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Let's start with Yvonne. And right in the audience today, we've got Katie Ellis. So, Katie, can you just give us a wave or a heart, please, if you're there? And actually, maybe
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm in the middle of trying to work out how to do it. I'm here.
oh, there you go. Katie, can you tell everyone a bit about you, just in two sentences? Let's tell everybody what you do.
Oh, my kids are trying to do it. So I am a ex A&E nurse of 20 years, but I am also a personal trainer. So I help women look after their health, prevent any future long-term health worries or concerns by using strength training and nutrition and my nursing background. And I do a hybrid approach, so I look after online and in person.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Katie. We have Julia Waters in the call as well. Julia, say hi to everyone, please.
I think she may have dropped off.
Oh, has she? Oh, and Kim Taylor, you there, Kim?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, hello. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm a nature coach and garden therapist, and I'm based on a farm just north of Amsterdam, and I work with Chinwe on prescribing nature also to children via our new program, Nature RX.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kim and I work together to use nature to bring sensory reprieve and therapies to children with neurodevelopmental and other neuro differences. So yes, thank you, Kim. And we also have Diana Jinners. You still there, Diana?
She may
So maybe
have dropped off as
she
well.
may have dropped off as
Yeah.
well. And Dr. Julie Hammond, is Julie still there?
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Oh, hey, you.
Hi. Oh my God, sorry. I'm with the boys. But yes, sorry. Hi everyone. I'm Dr. Julie. I'm a GP and also an author. So I've written a book on the fourth trimester, which will be out in November 2026. And I'm also the CEO and founder of a digital platform called Mama.
Amazing. Julie, can you tell us a little bit more about Mama, please?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So it's a digital health platform which I've designed to help support parents from preconception through to the first 1,000 days of their children's life. And we're looking to launch hopefully in the next 2 months again. So we're going to do completely revamp the website, relaunch. I've got an amazing software developer on board. So I'm really excited about the next phase of the journey for Mama.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the webinar today. So guys, I will now ask you to do something for me this evening. If you haven't already, please go on the app stores and download your Health Mary app. It's free to download, and what it does is that it brings you so much closer to all the wonderful women of Health Mary, including our amazing Dr. Eve Skin. You can just go on there, go to any of the categories, select a practitioner, hit the request button, and the app will send them a notification to let them know you want to connect. And that's all it is. It just brings you right to their doorsteps. And also you can go to the Reel section where we are all posting content there, really useful tips and advice that will help you along the way and on the go. And please join us for our next webinar, which will be on the 11th of May 2026. And the theme of that webinar is Let's Talk About Sex and Your Pelvic Floor. Because again, this is one of those topics in women's health that is often considered taboo, where many of us are living with quite serious and significant issues that are impacting on our everyday lives. And as you can see here, we are a safe place where we can really genuinely talk to each other. And so that particular webinar is going to be absolutely amazing. You will all get links and notifications nearer the time, and we would hope very much that you will join us then. And on that note, I will leave you be for the evening. Here at Health Mary, our favorite saying is that no woman should ever have to walk alone. And now you know that there is a place where you can come to feel safe and to approach other women who can truly, genuinely help. Thank you so much, everyone, and good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eve.
Bye.
Bye-bye, sweetheart. Oh, the cuteness overload. Seriously.